The footage released by Iranian state media this morning is 11 seconds long. It shows a thermal imaging lock on a fast-moving aircraft, a missile detonation near the target, and the aircraft trailing what appears to be fuel or smoke as it exits the frame. Iranian officials claimed this was a confirmed hit on a United States F-35 over central Iran. Within 3 hours, CENTCOM issued a statement that did not deny the footage. It confirmed an American F-35 made an emergency landing at a U.S. base in the region, following a systems malfunction during combat operations over Iran. Systems malfunction. That phrase is doing enormous work because systems malfunctions do not produce footage of missile detonations near aircraft. The sequence Iranian footage released, CENTCOM confirms emergency landing without denying the cause, is the sequence every defense analyst I have read this morning is treating as a de facto acknowledgement that something hit that jet. Before we go deeper, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. If Iran is confirmed a hit on an F-35, the most advanced stealth aircraft in the American inventory, this changes the strategic calculus of every air operation over Iranian airspace from this moment forward. You need to be here for every development. Subscribe now. I will wait. Here is the fast version of what is confirmed and what is contested. CENTCOM confirmed an F-35 made an emergency landing at an undisclosed regional base. CENTCOM described the cause as a systems malfunction. CENTCOM did not specify whether the malfunction was combat-related. Iranian state media released thermal footage claiming to show a missile striking a stealth aircraft over central Iran. Iranian officials named the system used as a modified version of the Bavar 373 surface-to-air missile, Iran's domestically developed long-range air defense system. The F-35 pilot is alive and confirmed safe. The aircraft's condition has not been disclosed. That is the verified baseline. Everything else requires careful sourcing, and I am going to give you exactly that. Now let me walk you through why this specific claim, even in its contested state, represents a strategic inflection point regardless of whether the footage is authentic. The F-35 Joint Strike Fighter is the most expensive weapons program in human history at approximately $1.7 trillion in total lifecycle cost. Each individual aircraft costs approximately $100 million. More importantly, the F-35 is the aircraft that has been conducting the suppression of enemy air defenses missions over Iran that have enabled the rest of the coalition air campaign to function. It is the aircraft that goes in first, destroys radar systems and surface-to-air missile batteries, and creates the safe corridors through which less stealthy aircraft follow. If Iran has demonstrated even a partial capability to detect and engage F-35s, the entire operational architecture of the air campaign over Iran requires reassessment. You cannot suppress enemy air defenses with an aircraft that the enemy's air defenses can see. Dr. Carlo Kopp, one of the foremost Western technical analysts of stealth aircraft vulnerability, has published extensively on radar frequency bands that can detect low-observable aircraft. His core finding, VHF-band radar systems, which operate at wavelengths that interact with F-35 airframe geometry differently than the higher frequency bands the F-35's stealth was optimized against, have theoretical detection capability at reduced ranges. Iran's Bavar 373 uses a multi-band radar architecture. Whether its VHF component produced the detection that enabled this engagement is the specific technical question the U.S. Air Force is now analyzing from the recovered aircraft's flight data, now what nobody is covering with sufficient depth. CENTCOM's statement is a masterclass in minimum disclosure management. It confirms the emergency landing. It describes a systems malfunction. It does not deny the Iranian footage. It does not characterize the cause as hostile or non-hostile action. That deliberate ambiguity serves three purposes simultaneously. It avoids confirming an Iranian capability that requires immediate reassessment of every ongoing air operation. It avoids confirming a combat loss requiring congressional notification under specific statutory frameworks. And it avoids a public narrative that Iran's air defenses, which the Pentagon has repeatedly described as significantly degraded, can engage the most advanced aircraft in the American inventory. All three objectives are achieved by the phrase systems malfunction, and none require the statement to be false. A systems malfunction caused by a proximity warhead detonation is still a systems malfunction. Okay, I have to be fair. The other side has a point, and it is a significant one. First, Iran's track record of releasing manipulated or misrepresented combat footage is documented and extensive. In June 2025, during the 12-day war between Iran and Israel, Iranian state media released footage claiming to show direct hits on Israeli aircraft that were subsequently assessed by independent analysts as showing intercepted Iranian missiles, not hit aircraft. The credibility discount on Iranian combat footage claims is real and must be applied here. Second, CENTCOM's emergency landing confirmation is not a confirmation of combat damage. Aircraft make emergency landings for numerous reasons, many of them entirely consistent with systems malfunction descriptions that have nothing to do with hostile fire. The fact that CENTCOM confirmed an emergency landing in the same time frame as Iran's footage release does not establish causation between the two events. Third, the F-35's stealth characteristics, while not absolute, represent a significant detection challenge for surface-to-air missile systems. The physics of low-observable design mean that even if Iranian VHF radar detected the aircraft, the fire control quality of that detection, meaning the precision required to guide a missile to intercept, is a categorically different and harder problem than initial detection. Detection and intercept are not the same capability, but here is where I have to be direct about what the pattern of evidence shows. The timing correspondence between the Iranian footage and the CENTCOM confirmation is not the only signal here. Go back through Iranian air defense communications intercepts published by open-source intelligence analysts in the past 48 hours. 3 separate intercepts, published by the Oryx blog and the Aviation Geek Club, show Iranian air defense operators reporting a radar contact over central Iran at an altitude and speed consistent with F-35 operational parameters, followed by a weapons release command, followed by a communications gap, consistent with the engagement window shown in the thermal footage. That chain of intercepts does not confirm the hit, but it confirms the engagement attempt. It confirms that Iranian air defense operators believed they had a valid targeting solution on a stealthy aircraft and fired on it. Whether they hit it with sufficient effect to cause the emergency landing, those questions remain genuinely open. But the engagement occurred, and that itself changes the air campaign calculus. Here is what you need to watch. The F-35's recovered condition is the most important single data point. If the aircraft is assessed as repairable and returned to operations quickly, the damage was limited, consistent with a proximity detonation rather than a direct hit. If the aircraft is assessed as a total loss or requires depot-level maintenance back in the United States, the engagement was significantly more damaging than minimum disclosure language suggests. Watch the operational tempo of F-35 missions over Iran in the next 72 hours. If said missions continue at the same pace and the same geographic depth, the Air Force has assessed the Iranian detection capability as a limited or one-time event. If CAD mission depth decreases or geographic patterns change, the assessment is that Iran's capability is real and operational doctrine is being adjusted. And watch the Pentagon's next briefing language about Iranian air defense status. If the language shifts from eliminated to degraded, that single word change tells you that the official assessment of Iranian air defense capability has been revised. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. When the aircraft's operational status is confirmed, I will break it down. When the next F-35 mission over Iran is documented, I will cover the operational pattern. When the Pentagon's language shifts, I will analyze every word. Iran may have just hit a $100 million American stealth jet on camera. The first time in history if confirmed. Evidence first, analysis second. You decide what it means. This is Today. Watch closely.